Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and today we start a series that is all focused on preparing you, whether you're a coffee professional or a business owner, for 2023. You ready? Let's do it. Hey friends, tickets are now available for our new series of live workshops taking place in November and December. They're focused on getting coffee professionals and small business owners better prepared for 2023. There's one for coffee professionals, one for those looking to start or grow their business as a coffee consultant, and there's one for customer acquisition planning that's tailored to small business owners. Go to mapitforward.coffee/events to grab tickets or check the show notes for details. So it's almost November, and we are headed for a run-up to the end of the year. This is the perfect time for us to get ready for 2023. And the reason I want us to make sure that we're thinking about this now is because of the volatility that we're expecting in our industry, in our supply chains, in the global economy, etc., etc. And so in this series, we're going to talk about the following. Today, we're going to talk about selling more coffee and what role customer acquisition planning is going to play in that. The second one, in the next episode, it's about becoming a consultant in coffee because there's never been a better time to do that. In the third episode, we're going to talk about beyond being a barista or a coffee roaster. What's the long-term trajectory in your career and how do you start looking at making sure that you are defining that in 2023 and laying the foundation for that. In the fourth episode, we're going to look at profits versus people. Our recent conversation with Kira Kennedy really dug deep into that and how Kira achieved a lot of success with that with Barista. And then in the fifth installment of this series, we're going to be understanding the coffee consumer and exploring why that is going to be more important than ever in 2023. In today's episode, selling more coffee. Now, if you look in the show notes, you'll see that there is a link to a series of workshops that we are doing in November and December. The first one of those is called Barista and Beyond. The second one is called Becoming a Coffee Consultant. And the third one is about what we're talking about today, which is customer acquisition planning. In 2023, it is going to be even more challenging than it was this year. And this was a challenging year for a lot of people. But the reason it's going to be more challenging is because of the volatility that we spoke about. You're going to have to reassess everything that you thought that you knew about consumers and about the supply chain and make sure that you have your finger on the pulse with regards to all of those things. Inflation is going to take hold or continue to take hold. And governments and federal reserves are going to be making decisions that will impact you uniquely compared to other people that are occupying the same space as you. Why? Well, because when federal banks decide to make decisions about interest rates, for businesses who have loans, that's going to impact them more than for businesses who don't have loans. Also, it's going to impact your suppliers in different ways. So if you're a coffee roaster versus if you're a cafe owner, one could argue that this inflationary environment and its impact on interest rates is going to impact coffee roasters more than cafe owners from one perspective. The lines of credits that coffee roasters need to buy and get credit on green coffee is usually significantly more based on the size of their roastery than it is on cafes. But cafes have business loans in different ways than what coffee roasters have them. So it is really important for you to understand that side of things well before you look at how you're going to make more sales. Why? Because you have to put this into your sales strategy. You've got to plan for the increase in interest rates. You've got to really seriously plan for how this may impact your supply chain. All of this doesn't seem like it's tied to selling more coffee, whether that be roasted coffee or cups of coffee, but it is, because if you don't plan for the way that your business is going to be impacted, then you are likely to significantly reduce the runway that you've got if you do hit hard times. So customer acquisition planning ties into that as the second step. Once you've understood the first step, which is understand how this whole scenario is going to impact your business or likely to impact your business, then you can start looking at how do I plan for acquiring new customers in 2023. And in those workshops that are going to be happening live, check the show notes for details, shameless plug there. But what we're going to be looking at is creating campaigns. And the idea behind that is if you can take a look at what the overall earning potential is of your business in 2023, then you can work your way backwards and figuring out, okay, I know that with the labor that I have access to and with the cogs that I have access to and with the time that I have to produce the product that puts those two things together, what is my earning potential? What are the avenues that I have to sell those products, whether it be roasted coffee, whether it be cups of coffee, whether it be merch, whether it be drip bags, whatever it is, what is your total earning potential for 2023? And then you can figure out what are going to be the campaigns that I can put together that allow me to realize the path to achieving those targets. And it can be really sobering to realize how much work goes into something like that. But the important thing is that once you start that process and you do encounter the sobering reality of all of that, you know where you're going and you know what's going to be needed to make it happen, which then circles back to step one, because once you do understand what's going to be needed to make that happen, you will be able to understand how much money you need access to so that you have the runway that you need. So step one and step two are really interconnected. You can't go into 2023. Let me rephrase that. You can do whatever you want, but I would caution you from going into 2023 with the idea, I guess, that it's going to be much the same as 2022. Now, at the beginning of 2022, when the first series that we released for this year, it was me saying that I believe that there's going to be major economic upheaval. I think I used the term major economic event or crisis. We're not quite there yet, some would argue, but it's pretty bad. And that doesn't mean that because it's bad or volatile that you can't be successful. This is a huge, brilliant opportunity for people who want to lean in practically and with the intention to be successful and make sure that they have a plan for success and a backup plan and a backup to the backup plan. And it doesn't always go the way that you expect it will, because there will be curveballs next year in 2023 as there were in 2022 and ever since 2020. But if you can plan, it gives you the beautiful opportunity to start thinking outside of your usual everyday business as usual mentality. And that is, as a business owner of many, many businesses, the one superpower that always got me to success was making sure that I had preempted the blind spots before they showed up. And it got me ready to be proactive when the blind spots did show up and move forward with success. So step one, make sure that you assess what your situation will most likely look like next year and how they will prepare you, or how you can be prepared for giving yourself the best chance at success. Step two, figure out what your total projected earning potential is for 2023. And when you get an understanding of that, then you need to figure out, how do I create the sales campaigns that are needed in order to get those sales hitting the targets that they need. And folks, it takes a lot of work, But once you get the actual planning strategy down, it's kind of copy and paste. And that is what we will teach you in the customer acquisition planning workshop that is happening in December, end of November, early December. There's 2 workshops. So head to the show notes, check it out, and I hope to see you there. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, friends. There are 2 ways you can support this podcast. Firstly, become a paid member of our YouTube channel. Secondly, you can join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video before you leave, and check the show notes for more information. Now, this is what you should check out next.